All right, everybody, welcome to the Board of Education meeting for Tuesday, September 12th, 2023. Can we get a
Silva. Here. Bradley. Here. Stacy.
Here.
Curran.
Here.
Noble. Here. Linneman.
Here.
Denny. Here. Ms. Forbes.
Okay, we have a quorum, and if everybody would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by an invocation by Pastor Jay Fewer with DC First Assembly of God.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this time. Lord, I thank you for our students of Granite City, teachers, administration, our Board of Educators. Lord, I pray that you would be with us in our midst tonight as we discuss the people of our town. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Up next is public comment. I believe we have 3 people. Sorry. Okay. If one of the 3 would please step to the podium and introduce yourself and go ahead and have one. Yeah, we try to keep everything to about 3 minutes, but go right ahead.
I've timed it and I'm trying desperately to make it there. I've been practicing for a while. Sorry.
We appreciate your preparation.
If I talk really fast, that's why, is because I know that I want to be respectful of your time and respectful of the time limit. So, hello, my name is Ashley Henderson. I have 2 small kiddos in the district and am a lifelong resident of this wonderful community. My husband is a Granite City police officer, and I am a former educator turned small business owner. I have been hearing that neighborhood schools are finally being considered. I wanted to take a moment and say thank you. The thought of someone actually putting this plan back into action brought tears to my eyes, as I feel it's what students and parents in this district desperately need for a multitude of reasons. One being transportation. If you haven't taken the time to drive the routes for parent pickup with the multiple dismissal times, I highly recommend you give it a try. I don't know what I would do if my schedule wasn't flexible, and it's still difficult. We only have 2 children, and pickup and drop-offs are hectic trying to get from one place to the next. I'll never forget the year we were at Wilson and Prather. Racing from Wilson to Prather was a nightmare and so stressful for our entire family, as we only had 10 minutes to get from one place to the next. Trying to explain to my kindergarten daughter that I was sometimes late because of traffic or a train wasn't easy, as she only understood that I just wasn't there on time. I don't know what we would do if I hadn't left my normal 9 to 5 that year, as we do not have grandparents who can help us out. I do not understand how families, or especially single parents, deal with this every year. Yes, we have buses, but they also have restrictions, as living too close can cause pickup issues, and the district hasn't always been accommodating for transfer requests for parents who simply ask to attend the building closest to them per their grade level center. And from my understanding, in some cases, because drivers are having to go all over the city, kids are having to be at bus stops as early as 6:30 a.m., which we have all seen many studies that show that more sleep increases a child's success in school. Last year was a dream. Being able to have my kids in the same school made for the best year ever. My kiddos loved having their sibling in their building. It helped with their confidence and education all around, as we were able to stay on a consistent schedule. Unfortunately, this year we are back in the same boat, and while the buildings are closer, this school year has started off stressful. When I talk to my kids about this, not only do they state that they miss their siblings, but something else was brought to my attention. They have expressed that changing schools is hard. Just getting used to new buildings and new people, in their words, is scary. And I thought about this. As adults, change is hard. It takes us months as adults to adjust to new jobs, new places, new people, and we have fully developed brains, and yet we ask our kids to readjust and learn new skills every 2 years. This has This has to be stressful on their learning capability as well as their social skills. I know for my own kids, my son struggles to make friends, and last year he was finally able to get in a good groove as he finally felt familiar with his environment. This year has been rough as far as lunch is considered. The constant stress of having to start over again has already impacted how much he's eating on a daily basis. I have always been proud to be a part of this town. I take great pride in saying that I live in Granite City when people ask. What I love most about it is that we are a town of hardworking people. Somehow, that seems to get translated into parents who simply don't care about our kids or district. Being a working class town doesn't mean that we don't care. It might just mean that we can't make every PTA meeting or conference because of shift work or overtime opportunities. It might mean that we can't join the PTA at all, as now we are required to pay for each separate school fee, or possibly having to choose which one you can join if you are a parent of multiple children. As a working class community, it might mean that we can't show up to events during the day due to work conflicts, but we would be happy to attend after school events if they were offered more at the elementary level. We have thoroughly enjoyed the reading nights. I feel a lot of joy knowing that we now have a school board who truly understands what it means to be a resident of this city. I understand that these learning centers were not your doing. I understand that we are completely down 2 entire buildings as Neighboring House is no longer deemed safe, and Worthen, a centrally located school, was transformed into this new board office. I also understand that at the time the district was just trying to improve learning and meet state requirements. But we gave it a go and now have seen that the costs do not outweigh the benefits, and our children's education and well-being is now suffering. Parents are burnt out and families are desperate for change. I have seen families leave this town or move their kids to private institutions because of the learning centers and the challenges it has presented to this district. I love this town with all of my heart. Granite is different in the best way possible, as we offer programs and classes that aren't available in other neighboring schools. We have a lot of heart and a lot of grit. Please don't mistake our economic status for lack of caring. I feel a lot of joy knowing that the board is ready to move forward to represent the needs of this town. I'm excited to have board members that want to see this district thrive by not trying to make us like Everettsville or Glen Carbon, but by meeting us where we are and thinking about what the families that actually live here need. I know this isn't going to be an easy task, and of course, it's not going to make everyone happy. And yes, kids will have to adjust to different buildings as they age until middle school and high school, but we are asking a lot of our younger students. Presenting them with a problem that we created seems unfair, and we have a chance to fix it. Thank you for giving these kids a consistent place where they can call home for longer than 2 years, and a chance to build relationships with peers and teachers that can create powerful progress in their education. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Ross Tyler, and I'm the parent of a 2nd grader and a future kindergartner. I have lived in Granite for basically my entire life, and I do, like Ashley, love this community. I've heard talks about bringing back neighborhood schools, or I guess it's called multi-level grade buildings. So I'm here, again, just basically to show how excited I am about that and say thank you for, considering this and bringing this back. This is going to be fantastic. And when new board members were elected this spring, this was the hope for parents in the community. And to hear that the plan is getting started really makes me excited for the future of our district and our community as a whole. I know this project's a lot of work, but I'm telling you, this is definitely what our community wants and needs. We only have 1 child in school currently, but next year we'll have 2. And with me and my wife's schedules, we're already very busy, and I can't imagine how stressful it's going to be having 2 kids in 2 different buildings. My wife and I are both very involved in our son's school, so the thought of double the conferences, double the PTA meetings, and classroom parties is a bit overwhelming. But me and my wife have a lot of help, and we'll be able to make that happen, fortunately. And when you're planning the future for schools, I like to think of those families who aren't as fortunate as mine. And over the last 2 years, my son has made some great friends at his school. We've spent time with their families at parades, swimming, birthday parties, and so much more. And all these friends have different families, different backgrounds, and different beliefs. The one thing we all have in common, though, is we want the best for our kids. We want siblings together. We want to take one school field trip, no matter where it is. We want parents to understand that the closest school may not be the ones that their kids may attend, but we know we can't please everybody. So we just want what's best for our kids, and they should be at the forefront of all of our decisions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I was trying. I was trying. So. Okay.
You tried.
Sorry, I do have something planned. Trying to do this one-handed it's lots of fun.
I think it's a good illustration of what it's like to be a parent.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So. Okay, you know what, I'm just gonna wing it. Okay, so hi, my name is Ashley Warren. I am the mom of 4 kids who are in the district. She will be in pre-K next September. So if things, I mean, I am very, very grateful for you guys to be considering neighborhood schools. Because let me tell you, it is incredibly stressful. I already spend 5.5 hours in the car just doing drop-off and pickups every day, Monday through Friday, and that's only for 3 kids. And that's going from Mitchell to Maryville and then to ECC, and there's big gaps of time in between start times. My kids are incredibly stressed out about it because they have to wake up very early to get ready, and then they're having to sit in the van, you know, for several hours waiting for their turn to be dropped off. My oldest daughter, who is in 3rd grade, she did not want to leave Maryville. She cried every single day when she found out that she had to leave, and she still cries every morning wishing that she could go back and see some of her friends who are now in 2nd grade. So fortunately, I do have some people in my family that can help me with drop-offs, well, with pickups. But that's not always easy. If my husband is even 5 minutes late, then he's late picking up my son, who gets out at 3:15. So, and then because I do sub in the district, so if I sub, then, you know, if I was able to just sub at one school and they all got out very similar times, then I wouldn't have to, you know, rush to be picking up at a different school or having to set up somebody else to pick up another child. And then also having to pay for 3 different PTAs, having 3 different fundraisers to do that are going on simultaneously, and then also having multiple book fairs to do that are all simultaneously, and they all need volunteers. And, you know, class parties, they're not always organized on the same day. I know this year that, you know, the principals have kind of gotten together to try to, you know, stagger them so that parents can attend more, but the years before they were not. And some of them were hosted on the exact same day, the exact same time. So trying to explain that to, you know, a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old that you have to pick, and so they think the one that you pick is your favorite child. So you try to balance that. And then, you know, PTA meetings are sometimes on the same day, at the same time. Also, you know, those are try to be staggered, but it becomes very stressful. And then, fortunately, my family, we do make enough money that we can afford, you know, $30 to join 3 different PTAs, but not everybody's that lucky. You know, not everybody in this community is that fortunate to be able to have that. And you know, and every PTA is run differently. Nothing is consistent across the board. And that goes the same thing for every school building that my kids are in. Nothing's consistent, so my kids don't understand, you know, different rules for different buildings, because everybody runs them different. Which I mean, I get, you know, principals, they all have their own styles, they all want to do things a certain way. But I think there needs to be more consistency, because it is very stressful for my kids and other kids. They also miss having their siblings in school. Like my daughter and my son actually got to go to school together for 1 year when she was in kindergarten and he was in his first year of preschool. But since then, my kids will not be in school together. My oldest two will not be in school together until my daughter is as a junior in high school, and he's a freshman. So, I mean, that's a long time to wait to be in the same school with your sibling when they're only 2 years apart from each other. And all of my kids are 2 years apart from each other. So, my oldest is 8, and then I have a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. So if we went back to neighborhood schools, they would at least, 3 of them would at least be able to be in the same school for several years together before they have to transition. I grew up in the military. My parents were both in the military, and my kids are switching schools more than I did. So, I mean, that's insane to think that somebody who lives in a community, who's permanent resident, has to move schools so many times. It's expected for somebody whose child is in the military to have to move every 3 years, 4 years, but not somebody who lives in the same town, having to move every 2 years. I mean, it's incredibly stressful if you don't get to make and keep friends. So especially the ones who go to kindergarten together, my son made some of his best friends, and they both go to Wilson and he goes to Maryville. So, and he won't see them again until, junior high, possibly, high school, if they even get to even be in some of the same classes together. So, I really, really hope that, going back to neighborhood schools, whether it's K through 4, K through 6, something, it has to be better than what it is now. So, thank you for hearing me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And sorry
Thank
for.
you.
Come on, our turn's over.
Do we have anybody else?
Yes,
Okay.
I feel like the odd one out, because I'm not talking about neighborhood schools.
All right.
So, but, can I have? My name is Marcia Brown, and I too grew up and have been raised in Granite City. I'm very proud of my town. I'm a very supportive warrior. So I'm very, I'm very passionate about my school. So, and when I was preparing what to say today, I always feel like it's important to go back and address what's important to you. And so, in your statement of what you believe, the first statement was, children are at the foundation of every thought we have, every decision we make, and every action we take. So I wanted to bring to your attention, I'm a high school cheer parent, and we've had some incidents that we'd like to bring to your attention so that maybe something can be done about this. On August 31st of this year, the GCHS cheerleaders and coaching staff were berated, belittled, and cursed by another staff member of the Granite City School District. This is the second time within a year in which our children were exposed to intimidation and unfair treatment by an adult who has assumed a leadership role within our district. As with the first time, our coaching staff and parents went through the appropriate channels to express frustration and disappointment. They were met with excuses from administration and told it would be addressed. Apologies were issued both times by the staff members. However, we the parents do not believe an apology given while chewing your lunch is sincere or appropriate. Our children have yet to see a visible consequence for the actions of these adults that we have entrusted to care for our kids. What example are we leaving for them? Upon hire, each employee is provided a handbook. This handbook spells out the expectation for staff members. Page 2, or page 8 on the electronic copy, specifically states that, in general, all employees of the school district have these common functions. Number 2, to be fair, courteous, and cooperative in all relationships with fellow teachers, pupils, parents, and the public. Furthermore, the handbook states, staff shall maintain high ethical standards in all relationships. In both instances, the guilty party did not uphold these standards, yet according to one of those employees, no consequences were handed down for the behavior. Both times our athletes have been instructed by their coaches to forgive and forget and are held to a higher standard and take the high road by their administration and support and continue supporting the coach that disrespected them, their coaches, and their sport. This has them confused and frustrated. If a student had behaved in this manner, according to the GCHS student handbook, there are 13 different measures of punishment, none of which include an apology as an option of consequences to poor decision making. I could continue talking and give you all of the facts that pertain to this issue, such as the administrator who has not only dismissed these concerns and turned a blind eye to this behavior, but has attempted to lay responsibility at the feet of our children's coaches. I haven't included the harassment our children have faced from these incidences in which their safety was threatened. My daughter personally has been intimidated and drafted a statement of how she felt unsafe walking the halls of her school and had been intimidated by her peers because of what has happened in this incident. So that has made me even more passionate about this when I sit next to a statement from my child and she has to feel that way walking around her school. I haven't included this disrespect our athletes are faced with every day when students climb over their equipment or damage the items we fundraise for. We, the GCHS cheer parents, will no longer tolerate this behavior. Actions have consequences and we will no longer accept it's a personnel matter as an excuse to do nothing to protect our students and their coaches. We deserve an explanation, a visible punishment, and our children deserve better role models. And I want to share with you something that was sent by a student, one of the students that was berated and then later pulled aside by the coach. And they sent an email to a staff member and gave them this information. I'm emailing you to tell you I just talked to the coach. He asked me a question, do I want to play? I told them I want to do both sports. But I honestly don't want to play for a team with players who've been talking bad about me for a week now, or for a coach who has said hurtful things to me. And honestly, I feel peer pressured. I know he apologized, but I just don't want to deal with the drama. It has me mentally drained. I don't mean to interrupt whatever you're doing, but I just wanted you to know how I really felt. I hope you have a blessed rest of your day. And this comes from a 14-year-old student who has that mindset that this has affected him in this way. So we're just asking, we understand that it's a personnel issue, and we don't expect the details to be discussed with us. But I had a conversation with an administrator, and I was asked to provide specific details. If you provide this, we will take action. And my daughter made a list of the people involved. We had another situation where I had all the details, and in consideration, I decided that I was not going to have any of those students punished because they were misled by one of their leaders. So I chose not to give the details, and I hope that whatever has happened will be enough to take action against this specific person. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Turning just a bit. The GCSD9 Board of Education Administration would like to take a moment to recognize Kyla Gerhardt. Did I get that right? Oh, no, I don't.
Are you wanting to say something
recognition?
If she'd like to, I'm thrilled. But if you wanna, I even brought a picture of you on the day so everybody could see.
We welcome you to speak, but don't feel like you
Yes,
have
but
to.
don't feel like you
We're
have
not putting
to.
you on the spot.
I don't have much to say. I just want to thank you all for noticing and being there for any type of support, and because this is very, very it's not easy to uphold such a title. So I just want to say thank you all for being supporters through whatever you see, and there will be more to come.
Okay, well, stay here. And I'll try to have, this is, okay, so, and hold your picture. So we would like to honor our 2023 graduate, Miss Kyla Earhart, for achieving the honor of Miss Illinois Juneteenth, which is a really big deal. She achieved this honor on June 3rd, I'm correct, at East St. Louis Higher Education Center. Each state winner of the Miss Juneteenth in each state competes on a national level, correct? Then for the national Miss Juneteenth title. So Juneteenth is a national holiday, for those of you who don't know, that marks the anniversary of the day in 1865 when the news of the Emancipation Proclamation reached Galveston, Texas. Nearly 2 years after the document was actually issued, so that's significant as well. Celebration of this day grew across the country until it was proclaimed a federal holiday in 2020 by President Biden.
Absolutely.
So we would like to congratulate Kyla on her accomplishment by presenting her with a certificate from the district.
All right.
Was it amazing going to, is it in Memphis? Where's the national competition? Philadelphia, I think it was in 2020, it was in Memphis, I got that wrong, I'm sorry. Anything else you want me to add?
I'm sorry.
Do you want me to add something?
Yes.
Oh, come on up. The more people that this is a big deal. And she also sang, if anyone's at graduation,
God.
it was amazing.
Yeah.
I just want everyone to know, she sang the national anthem and it just brought tears to my eyes as well, so I wanted to
Thank you graciously for allowing me to say something. I wanted this district and this school to just know she's a product of you, and her theme, she's going to be coming out as a Mockingjay for Juneteenth. And her fight with special education and her taking on the banner now with special education is really a product of this community and the spirit of diversity and what is possible. So I really didn't want to miss that she will be riding from Granite City to Philadelphia with that theme of that Mockingjay.
Wow.
What you did, okay?
No, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. She's amazing. Thank you so much. And then I put that so everybody could see when she won and it was. Yeah, when is the national? I didn't get the date I was looking for.
It's October 14th.
Well, we will be rooting for you. Is it online? Is there a way to watch it? Like,
Absolutely, I believe we will be streaming it
Well,
from
if you
out.
share the link with us, we'll
Absolutely.
definitely put that on, okay? Because that's,
Absolutely.
well, then we'll all be rooting for you. That'd be really neat. Okay, congratulations. And since it didn't happen until June 3rd, it was after graduation, so thank you for letting us know so we made sure we could honor her.
Thank you for coming back.
At this point, we're, I think, moving on to the more business-like session. So if anyone would like to leave, you're more than welcome.
Thank God.
Thank you. Let us know the link so we can post that.
Okay.
Root on. Are you gonna sing too?
At the pageant.
Sing just a chorus. Let's go. Again, as Illinois Juneteenth Committee, we thank you. Thank you. You know, they try to paint so many pictures of separatism when it's not like that.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for coming here.
We appreciate it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. And now, yes, minutes.
Oh, no, it's not.
Oh, it's Linda, that's right, I'm sorry, Linda. Yeah.
Almost missed you. I know, I'm still. I know, she's pretty.
Yeah, go right ahead.
We are ready. It's been over.
I wanted to take this opportunity this evening to recognize the work of our Granite City's District 9 administration. As a member of this board since 2017, I know that our mission and purpose here is to provide the best classroom, learning experience with caring teachers and building staff, making a difference in our students' lives. Still a little cleared up with this. Recently, it seems as though there is some cynicism regarding work towards that purpose. Granite City District 9 administration, along with a diverse steering committee in which Talon and I were on, has served and has been working towards a long-term strategic plan to push for continuous improvement across the entire district. We are excited to begin implementing this plan and having new voices contribute ideas as we continue to improve. We all want to work together to build, preserve, and provide the best for our children. As a Board of Education, let's remember what we were elected for. I want to work with my committee members, the board, and our superintendent to support and continue the district's transformation. Our superintendent, even before she took her position in July of 2020, continued in her position at SIU instructing student teachers. She also worked with a nonprofit helping the foster care program in the area, and still spent hours here in this building without pay, observing meetings and acquainting herself with the entire staff and personnel. When she officially began as our superintendent, she worked to create a culture of teamwork, respect, trust, talent, and energy. The board that hired her gave her goals and expectations, which she began working towards the minute she was hired. She began with ordering devices for students and teachers with grant funds to help us through the pandemic with some sense of continuous learning for our students. Our administrators were proud of the work they were doing and the extra hours they put in during the ravages of COVID. Responding to the ever-changing demands of the government's COVID mandates became a focus for this team. No one had faced issues like this before, and never have. I have never seen a group of people bond together to work thoroughly and through the final reopening of our schools so well. From managing buildings and grounds issues, including sanitation procedures, to mask mandates and social distancing throughout the buildings. They all continue to remain late as needed to prepare for the next day in this uncharted crisis. I have been a witness to our administration's handling of this education crisis. The superintendent encouraged team problem solving and told me often how proud she was of the entire group. They came to her office with ideas and possible solutions, and they have always appreciated her willingness to listen and implement the ideas that helped everyone, especially our children. Knowing what her administrators were capable of, some of their individual responsibilities and expectations were changed to meet the growing demand for new procedures and needs for the district. Planning remote learning, distributing Chromebooks, maintaining a helpline, training staff, learning how to communicate in a remote way, keeping our buildings safe and sanitized, managing federal grants to keep all of this going are just a few of the many things that they all took on during the past 3 years. Everything was focused on providing vital services to our students. Our superintendent and the administrative team developed an extensive interview process that recommended only the highest qualified candidates for our school district. Transportation was also affected by COVID. Even though we decided to keep all of our drivers employed during the remote time, finding enough to drive when we went back, even part-time, was disastrous. No matter how hard our transportation director worked and the lack of experienced drivers, their unfamiliarity with the routes and the routes themselves outdated and never reported led us to search for a more reliable company. First Student took over in 2022 with less drivers than we needed to run buses for all students. Having to cut transportation for some was an extremely difficult decision, but one that we could not avoid. The communications manager and transportation director worked so hard to make sure that the district was doing all it could to provide service to our students. I went in one day to the board office and saw almost every board administrator in the transportation office trying to deal with the many bus issues that were coming their way late into the evening. It was another time when I saw this devoted team working together to solve problems as they came. No matter what the crisis is, our superintendent and administrative team is ready to respond to the news media. After one media interview during the bus crisis, over 30 people applied as drivers. Keeping the public informed and being upfront with the media and community had been a constant under this administration. Granite City District 9 has had both positive and negative stories over the past 3 years, but our team has been great at keeping everyone as informed as possible throughout. Frequent board updates are sent to make sure we are all in the know as well. The superintendent uses videos to help spread messages about many things happening in the district. She is straightforward and hopeful in her video updates and offers encouragement to the community and parents, no matter how difficult the crisis. During COVID, very few superintendents volunteered to go online and go on air. Superintendent Can has been recognized by many in the state and has done what others were not prepared to do. No school board or superintendent has ever been faced with an epidemic of this proportion, nor have they been trained to do so. No one was prepared for this. And yet vile, despicable, and appalling calls came into her office daily, some in the community and in the public, complaining and criticizing issues that were out of her control. Callers were treated politely and with courtesy and respect by her office personnel and were invited to come into the office and discuss and talk about the problems with the superintendent. Some took her up on her offer, but many chose to complain on social media without giving the district a chance to respond to untrue or invalid attacks. It is impossible to please everyone, but our administration has put the needs of our students first. New safety protocols, academic improvements, and facility upgrades are all among the daily responsibilities of these few dedicated people. We have the same number of administrators, and in some cases we have less than many of the districts around us. We must now look to the future and be ready to face this human disaster again. Will we be prepared? Will we have the manpower, the courage, and wisdom to protect ourselves and our families? Have we learned anything? Or have we only gravitated toward living with cynicism and distrust? We can only build and protect together. Our children must go forward prepared with dreams, their ambition, and their love. We are all the guardians of their hope for the future. We must protect and provide them together. Let's please use this time and new strategic plan to improve and support our students and our Granite City District. Thank you.
Thank you, Mona. Moving on, we can do the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of the Board of Education held on August 22nd, 2023.
So moved.
Discussion? All those in favor? I can do that, right? Yeah.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Yeah. And then now, consent agenda, which is what contains those items that are repetitive and routine in nature. Any member may make a motion to approve the consent agenda or request that any items be moved to section 7 for individual discussion and consideration. Do we have a motion?
Second.
And you want to go ahead and talk about it?
Yeah, this is the part where, I always like to bring this up because there are so many people in this community who talk about being proud from Granite. Every time I love this because so many people take time and money and resources to give to help our district. So, we're going to talk about this time. I know that Hope Lutheran Church, gave money and, donations of student clothing. A lot of our students need different items and they collected and did that. And I just think that's amazing that they even think about us to do that. And I just want to be appreciative of that. The Steelworkers Organization and the Active Retirees SOAR also collected money to help with that. They've given school supplies. It's amazing how many schools, I know that most of the principals are here, you got shipments of all kinds of things. Every school got a large amount of donations and that helps throughout the whole year. Kids come with stuff, but by month end, they don't have things. And it really makes a huge difference and we're so appreciative of all the people that gave money for our children. I know that at Frohart, they're adjacent to Central Christian Church. They're amazing every year. Ms. Robertson has told me they gave $10 gift cards to every staff member in addition to snacks and things for them and nice cards of encouragement, which I think is amazing. I just always want to thank them for that too. And another huge district supporter, Mr. Rob Steen, who owns Dairy Queen, also is amazing. He gave a monetary donation for the golf team, which is very much appreciated as well. So I just wanted to make sure that I talked about all that because it's really important that we recognize those people that support our children. So.
Thank you. We do have a motion in a second, so we'll have a roll call.
Stacy.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
Knoble.
Aye.
Linneman.
Aye.
Benny. Aye. Silva. Aye. Bradley. Aye.
Okay. 8A, retirements and resignations.
It is recommended that the following retirements and resignations be accepted. Ms. Jody Batchen, Principal at Mitchell, retirement end of 2027-28. Mr. William Carpenter, monitor at GCHS, resignation is 8/23/23. And Angela Wampler, paraprofessional at Mitchell, resignation effective 9/14/23.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Curran.
Aye.
Knoble.
Aye.
Linneman.
Aye.
Benny. Aye. Silva.
Aye.
Bradley. Aye. Stacy.
Aye.
Okay. 8B, requests for leaves of absence.
It is recommended that the following requests for leaves of absence be approved. Ms. Tanya Thwett, Cafe Prather, effective 8/16/23 to 11/8/23. Ms. Cynthia Desper, 6th grade IR teacher Grigsby, effective 8/18/23 to 11/18/23. Mr. Dave Wright, custodian GCHS, effective 4/17/23 to 9/4/23. Ms. Lori Cavity, English teacher GCHS, effective 10/20/23 to 1/12/24. And Ms. Lori Wicks, parent and educator Prather, effective 9/14/23 to 12/7/23.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Knoble.
Aye.
Linneman.
Aye.
Benny. Aye. Silva.
Aye.
Bradley. Aye. Stacy.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
8C, requests for extensions to leaves of absence.
It is recommended that the following requests for extension to leaves of absence be approved. Mr. Hong Kim, custodian GCHS, effective 9/6/23 to 12/6/20.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Linneman.
Aye.
Benny. Aye. Silva.
Aye.
Bradley. Aye. Stacy.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
Knoble. Aye.
Okay. 8D, extracurricular recommendations for the 23-24 school year.
You have received detailed information about this item below. The administration is prepared to make recommendations for a hold discussion in executive session. The GCSD9 administration has recommended the following extracurricular assignments for the 23-24 school year be approved. Also, the Granite City High School Food Sports Team coaching position has been a voluntary position for 3 years for the teachers' collective bargaining agreement. Per this agreement, teams, clubs, and activities are to be considered for compensation after 3 years of volunteer work. We have run the esports team information through the extracurricular rubric and are recommending it be placed on column 2, high school coach minor. The extracurricular salary schedule. Mr. McChristian is recommending David McCausland, who has been volunteering for the position for the past 3 years. And below that is a list of stipends. Most of them are lunch duty. There's some spelling bee. They are listed below. If you'd like me to read them.
Just the title.
I'll list them.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Benny. Aye. Silva.
Aye.
Bradley. Aye. Stacy.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
Knoble. Aye. Linneman.
Aye. Okay. 8E, extracurricular volunteers for the 23-24 school year.
You received detailed information about this item below. The administration is prepared to make recommendations or hold for discussion in executive session. The GCSD9 administration is recommending the following extracurricular volunteers for the 23-24 school year be approved. Clark Spalding, GCHS girls and boys golf coach, Greenie Christie, coach baseball, and Don Alex, coach baseball. Approval is recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Silva.
Aye.
Bradley. Aye. Stacy.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
Knoble. Aye. Linneman.
Aye.
Benny. Aye.
8F, secondary library aid recommendations for the 23-24 school year.
Below, you've received detailed information about this item. The administration is prepared to make recommendations or hold for discussion in executive session. The GCSD9 administration is recommending the following applicant for the 2023-24 school year be approved. Mr. John Weiser, secondary library aide, Coolidge Junior High School. Approval is recommended.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Bradley. Aye. Stacy.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
Knoble. Aye. Linneman.
Aye.
Benny. Aye. Silva.
Aye.
8G, Granite City High School student workers co-ops for the 23-24 school year.
The GCSD9 administration is recommending the following student workers for the 23-24 school year be approved. These students work with the tech department, ESL mostly, Morgan Miller, Abigail Smith, and Jalen Wise Palmer. Approval is recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion?
I have a question. These are co-ops.
Yes.
We have other co-ops that are working.
Right, these are just
right?
ones that are working for the district.
Oh, okay.
So they
That's
work
what I was-
directly, that's what I was trying to question. So it's really nice, because they
Yeah.
get experience in something and learn tech skills,
Oh,
ESL
yeah.
skills, and
And
they
they're
really,
needed.
Christy could, the much story could speak to our ESL co-ops, I think, they do a great job.
Yeah, they go around to the schools and they help our ESL kids and they work one-on-one and with groups with them, with the kids under the teacher supervision.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to have three, it's nice to have one, but
They work for us.
These aren't ESL co-ops, so.
yeah.
It's really nice. I think they enjoy it too.
Love it. Love it.
Roll call.
Stacy.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
Knoble.
Aye.
Linneman.
Aye.
Benny. Aye. Silva.
Aye.
Bradley. Aye.
8H, certified and classified substitutes.
It's recommended the following applicants be board approved as substitutes for the 23-24 school year. Certified, Carol Macias. Classified, Kathy Goodwin, Mary Rossi, Alex Wright, Donald Boyd, Linda Thomas, Raymond Ziegler, Amanda Patterson, and Sharon Westman.
So moved.
Discussion. Roll call. 8I1, employment of one administrative assistant for the enrollment center.
GCSD9 administration and interview committee consisting of Mr. Brad Irvay, Director of Student Services, Chris Mitchell, Manager of Communications, and Christina Sarich, Administrative Assistant, are recommending the employment of the following candidate as an Administrative Assistant Enrollment Center for the 23-24 school year. Ms. Tabitha Smith. Approval is recommended pending the submission of required paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Noble.
Aye.
Linderman.
Aye.
Benny. Aye. Silva.
Aye.
Bradley.
Aye.
Stacy.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye. 8I2, employment of one paraprofessional.
The GCSD9 administration and the interview committee consisting of Ms. Nikki Watkins, Director of Special Education, Jill Relicky, Supervisor of Special Education, and Steph Boyer, Supervisor of Special Education, are recommending the employment of the following candidate as a paraprofessional for the 23-24 school year. Ms. Tess Spence. Approval is recommended pending the submission of required paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Linderman.
Aye.
Benny. Aye. Silva.
Aye.
Bradley. Aye. Stacy.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
Noble. Aye.
8I3, the employment of 19 cafe workers.
Oh, it's fine. Chris can, where's Mr. McCullough? Do you want to kind of tell them why there's 19? It
Yeah,
sounds
well, during COVID, we had a lot of retirements, we had a lot of permanent subs that we were moving to different places depending on our play count, and we were at a point where, some of our captured workers bid to different places, and we were just at a point where we can actually fill these positions according to the play count and get us to the proper staffing levels and everywhere. So we're lucky enough, been enough candidates, and we actually have, through a lot of work from all of the staff here and our internet, we've gotten a lot of applicants to be subs too. We're getting a better pool from that too. So we're really excited about that.
So the GCSD9 administration and the interview committee consisting of Ms. Kristen Nevasquez-Caberna, Mr. Chris McCullough, and Christy Kreiber, recommended the employment of the following candidates as cafe workers for the 23-24 school year. They're broke down by the 8-hour ones and the 4-hour ones. Do you want to read those?
I would read the name.
Okay. Samantha, I don't know what's this, Ballside? Oh, wait, what was it? Thank you, Ballsy. These are 8 hours. Michaela Campbell and Christina Warden, 4 hours. Lisa Blue, sorry, I apologize. Amanda Gleaner, Sarah Valley, Juliet Campbell, Alma Gonzalez Lopez, Renee Vancil, Leah Catherall, Jennifer Hart, Teresa Willis, Charlene Dappridge, Melania Murphy, Sandra Wiley, Shelley Thaler, Beth Ramos, Catherine Goff, and Rochelle Smith. Approval is recommended for these people pending the submission of the required paperwork.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Benny. Aye. Silva.
Aye.
Bradley. Aye. Stacy.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
Noble.
Aye.
Linderman.
Aye. Okay, 8I4, employment of one special education administrative assistant.
Below is the detailed information about this item. The GCSD9 administration and the interview committee consisting of Ms. Nikki Watkins, Mr. Brad Irvay, and Mr. Relicky are recommending the employment of Sherry Nichols as a special ed administrative assistant for the 23-24 school year. Approval is recommended pending the submission of the required paperwork.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Silva.
Aye.
Bradley. Aye. Stacy.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
Noble.
Aye.
Linderman.
Aye.
Benny. Aye.
Okay, on to new business. 10A, the approval of GCHS School Resource Officer, SRO, for the 23-24 school year.
Permission is requested for the continuation of the school resource officer for the 23-24 school year. It is recommended that Officer Elliot Brinkmeyer remain the SRO in the assignment at Granite City High School. Expenses for providing this program will be covered by the district, and costs are dependent upon the salary of the officer in this agreement. Approval is recommended.
Yes, this is approving the SRO contract, the intergovernmental agreement we have with the city regarding all these three.
And their attachments.
It is an annual, we do it every year.
Yes, the Coolidge, the high school, and the Sabre. The one at Lake is a 5-year contract, that's why it's not on here.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Bradley. Aye. Stacy.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
Noble.
Aye.
Linneman.
Aye.
Denny. Aye. Silva.
Aye.
Okay, 10B, the approval of the Coolidge Junior High School Resource Officer for 23-24.
Okay, permission is requested for the continuation of the school resource officer for the 23-24 school year. It is recommended that Officer Scott Penny remain as SRO in the assignment at Coolidge Junior High School. Expenses for providing this program will be covered by the district. The costs are dependent upon the salary of the officer in this agreement. Approval is recommended.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Stacy.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
Noble.
Aye.
Linneman.
Aye.
Denny. Aye. Silva.
Aye.
Bradley. Aye.
Okay, 10C, the approval of the Grigsby Intermediate School Saber and School Resource Officer for 23-24.
The permission is requested for the continuation of the Saber School Resource Officer for the 23-24 school year. It is recommended that Sergeant Matt Maui remain as Saber SRO in an assignment at Grigsby Intermediate School. Expenses for providing this program will be covered by the district. The costs are dependent upon the salary of the officer in this assignment. Approval is recommended.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Curran.
Aye.
Noble.
Aye.
Linneman.
Aye.
Denny. Aye. Silva.
Aye.
Bradley. Aye. Stacy.
Aye.
Okay.
Hearing officer.
Yeah, 10D is hearing officers.
Okay. The GCSD9 administration is recommending an increase for the GCSD9 hearing officers from $100 per hearing to $170 per hearing. $175. It hasn't been raised for over 10 years. It requires anywhere from 2 to 6 hours, depending on how complicated it is. So, and they can get paid over $200 even for a day of administration. So we just think it's time to do that. Approval is recommended.
So moved.
Yeah, you just don't know, but it might be a short one.
Roll call.
Curran.
Aye.
Oh, I lied. Noble. Aye. Linneman.
Aye.
Denny. Aye. Silva.
Aye.
Bradley. Aye. Stacy.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
Sorry about that.
Yes. Under reports. Do you have anything in the reports?
You know, it's on. Yeah, we'll go, we don't have any FOIA requests this time, so, we do have, mentoring program presentation from the Teachers Union President, Chuck Now.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do you want the podium?
No, I'm good. Sorry. So, as you know, my name is Chuck Now. I've been the president of the Granite City Federation of Teachers for been teaching for 16 years. Over half that time, I was the president of the Granite City Federation of Teachers. One thing that I've always prided our district on and our union on is collaborating with administration. And I don't think there is a better example of that than the mentoring program that we have enjoyed here for the last 4 years. In January of 2021, I think it was, Superintendent Cand emailed me and said, hey, look into this program. I think this is something that we should do. Pretty much immediately, Curriculum Director Kristen Vostich-Caberna and myself started coordinating to get this thing together, compiling lists, meeting with the liaison from the IFT to put forth this program that is a complete collaboration between the Illinois Federation of Teachers, the Illinois Education Association, and the ISB, also fully funded by those organizations. Each first, second, and third year teacher in our district is assigned an on-site mentor as well as a virtual instructional coach. We even have some of our members that are serving as virtual instructional coaches for districts all across the state. So I don't think there's any better way to sum up this program than for some of our members to speak for themselves. This past summer, the Illinois Federation of Teachers sent a filming crew to Coolidge Junior High School to speak with a couple of our members that have been participating in this program. So without further ado, Chris.
Smile, Liz.
My name is Teresa Metter. I teach at Grigsby Intermediate School, and I'm beginning my 30th year of teaching 5th grade.
My name's Jackie Payne. I work for Summit School District 104 as a special ed facilitator and instructional coach.
First couple years as a teacher, I think, is really intimidating. It's very overwhelming. I remember the first day that I came into the building before the school year even started. Teresa was actually the one who met me in the parking lot. So she was really the first person that I met in my building. And then to find out that she would also be my mentor when we kind of already had like a relationship, that was very exciting to me as well.
It probably helped me as much as it helped my mentee. A lot of times people leave because they just get burnt out. And I will tell you, working with a younger teacher, I think helped me not get burnt out. You know, she just having her enthusiasm and her excitement is infectious.
The program works by getting paired up with teachers, not necessarily within your school district, but somewhere in the state of Illinois. We were paired based off of expertise. So all the teachers that I worked with were all from special education, as I'm a special educator and I can offer the advice and the coaching through that lens. I would tell other educators who are thinking about becoming a virtual instructional coach to do it. It is a great program, not just for the teachers that you're working with, but also for yourself.
Embrace it, set aside the time to really do it and dedicate yourself to it. It'll definitely pay off in the long run.
So as you can see, this program has had a huge impact on our district. And so I thank you for allowing us to participate in this program and also for allowing us to continue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
There's a whole family of Metter teachers who are amazing in our district. I just want to point that out. That's one of her daughters is here. Where's the other one?
She's watching.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to make sure it's all here.
Yeah. So I think with that, we do need to call to adjourn for executive session.
Yeah.
Under 5 ILCS.
First, Tom, there's something that's first, that's for executive.
Yeah, the appeal.
Right.
Yeah, that's, we have to do that in executive.
That's fine.
Okay.
Move to move into executive session.
And that's gonna be under 2C9. And we also have a MOU discussion under 2C11.
Second.
Second. We need roll call vote on those.
Vinnie, aye. Silva.
Aye.
Bradley. Aye. Stacy.
Aye.
Curran.
Aye.
Noble. Aye. Linneman.
Aye. Okay.